Hello and welcome everybody. So we're all going through life and experiences, and we all have desires, and we want to, get a response to those desires someday. In other words, say a manifest coming into fruition or, whatever. The thing is that as we go throughout our day, even from the most minute thing to the big things, we're always kind of giving off these vibrations of the new desire that's coming in. So what happens is when you have a desire for life to be different, your higher self or God or your soul or whatever you want to call it is already basically lining up with that. And at the same time, God has already created the situation that you're desiring. So basically, God, the universe, our higher self, it's all jumping on board with the desire that we've just requested, in other words. So the only thing left is for us to line up with it. It's almost like everybody's on board, but then we'll say, well, I need more money for this, but then it's like we go to the store, it's like, well, I never have enough money and things cost too much. Just as an example, but in other words, life is finding more ways for us to find new desires to make it better. And this is great. This is great overall. Anytime any person on the planet has a new desire of how to make Earth better in a better way, this is all for the greater good of the greater conscience. And that's why, like in scriptures, before they ask, it is given. Before they call, I will answer. And if you really think about, we've been asking for stuff our whole life. We get some of it and a lot of it we don't or whatever. But, it's kind of like this big bank is building of all the stuff we've been requesting. And, the thing is, you don't really want all that stuff to just come avalanching down towards you. In other words, like if you wouldn't want all the food you're going to eat the rest of your life to come today, it's like you want to eat a meal a day or whatever, in other words. So, just ease up on yourself as far as the desires, because if we really press it too hard, then it's basically we're sending off the vibration of lack, saying, in other words, I'm not happy if I don't have this thing or whatnot. So, that's the first key to lining up, like I talked about, lining up with our desire. It's like we put the desire out there, God and the universe and everybody lined up with it, and it's just waiting on us. So in other words, we are also going to line up with it when we know it is done in our minds, in our own conscience. Whether or not the 3D world is reflecting that yet, we know it's coming. So I love y'all. We'll see you on the next one.